Welcome to the Art Lady's Home. Today I'm going to be making a breakfast egg scramble, and I'm going to do it kind of like my traditional way that I've always made my eggs, but this is going to be a vegan style, and I'm going to be using some tofu. So I have this brand tofu here. You can use any kind of tofu. I just have this extra firm because I like it in the cupboard or in the refrigerator, but any kind of tofu is fine. I am going to press it slightly while I prepare my potatoes. So I'm going to stick it between two plates. Mine's not very technical. And put a weight on top of it. Just as long, probably 10 minutes, as long as it takes me to cut up these potatoes. I have some 8 red potatoes. Of course, any potatoes is fine for this. I have 2 onions. One is kind of a large onion, and then the other is pretty much just a medium onion. I have just plain black pepper, some garlic salt. I'm going to be using some nutritional yeast for seasoning to give it that eggy taste, or cheesy eggy taste. I have some roasted garlic and herbs that I'll sprinkle in with a touch of herbs de Provence. I love adding that to my potatoes. And then I have some salt. Any kind of salt is fine. I just had this on hand, although because this is vegan, I kind of wished I did have that iodized salt because that helps for people who are vegan. But I don't have that on hand, so I'm just going to use this salt. I prepared my pan, so what I did was I'm starting to heat my oil, and as I cut up my potatoes, I'll be throwing in the chunks into the oil. And right now I just have the oil on a very low setting because I still have to cut up those taters, but I wanted to show you my ingredients before I started digging in. So this is all I'm going to be using. I want it to be just kind of like that traditional scrambled eggs and potato breakfast that I love so much. And now that I've I've started eating healthier, I've eliminated the eggs and cheese, so I'm going to be making this now with tofu. So I'm going to take you along as I create this. The potatoes are cooking. I ended up using 7 of them. I had an extra one just because I didn't want this pan to be really full. I wanted them all to get evenly cooked. And then I did bump up my heat once they were all cut up and chopped to about a 5, so that's a medium, so they can get browned. I like real crispy hash brown potatoes. And these are 1/2 inch to 1 inch chunked, diced. And now I'm going to season them. I'm going to put some black pepper over them. Of course, you season them to taste. I'm just going to lightly sprinkle black pepper. And then I'm going to put some garlic salt. I used about probably 2 tablespoons of oils, and I used a variety of cooking oils. I like using more than one. I just think it's healthier. And now I'm going to put in some of this. It's roasted garlic and herbs. Like I said, you can season to taste. Some people like a lot, and some people like it just plain or just salt, pepper. We like lots of seasonings in our family. I'm not going to cook up the onions yet. I want the potatoes to get really crispy before I throw in my onions. And the smaller you dice your potatoes, of course, the faster it's going to cook. And these weren't previously boiled. These were just fresh potatoes. So they're going to need a little cooking time here. After they get a little crispy, I may reduce my heat if they're not quite done yet. So I want those seasonings to flavor through the potatoes, so I'm putting it on now at this stage. When I put them in the pan, I did toss that oil to coat them because I wanted them to be completely coated with oil as they're cooking. So they absorbed the oils that I had put in my pan, and now they're just going to season and cook. Now this is going to be a 1-pan dish. Oops, I did see a little yucky here. I like removing anything that has blemishes on it. This is a one-pan dish, so after these are cooked, I'm going to push them all to the side, and then I'll stir-fry my tofu in here. That's how I like to cook. Simple, easy, quick. I am super lazy when it comes to cooking and washing pans. Now I'm going to sprinkle on some of this herbes de Provence. I put this on everything. It just is a great seasoning. And I'm only going to use a few pinches of this. But it just has everything in it. A small palm of this. Now I'm going to crush this in my hands like this. And there's some sea salt mixed in here too. I always throw in a little salt when my seasonings get down a little lower. And then I'm going to put some of my Himalayan salt. A few pinches of this. We don't salt our food very heavy in my family. I like the natural seasonings of the food and natural taste of the food, but also, I don't know, I just think it's healthier. The less of anything you add, the healthier. And so we're not going to salt much. And I'm going to stir this in. Actually, they're browning up really good, which is nice. And I may cover this just to get those potatoes to bake. Because mine aren't really small chunks. Like I showed you, they're compared to my thumb. You know, some are. So this is going to take a little while to soften them up. But just for a few minutes, the heat will kind of steam them through. And then I'll show you as I add my onions. There, we'll let that cook. The potatoes are crisping up really nicely. It was only a few minutes, probably about 5 or 6 minutes as I was dicing up my onions, so I'm ready. I had them covered, and every time I cut an onion, I tossed them and turned them. And they're tender. They're pretty tender right now. They're not too bad. I can just break them easy with my spatula, so they're nice. I turned down the heat a little bit. I turned it down 1 notch, so it's down on a 4, which is still a medium. Now I'm going to go ahead and add my onions to it. And toss these in. I waited on the onions because I wanted those potatoes to be fully cooked and browned on as many sides as possible. And like I said, my pan, even though it's a large pan, I had a lot of potato. We want this to be leftover as well, so we like to have, if I'm going to cook, I like having leftover, and I like having a lot of this. Oh my, this is smelling gorgeous, delicious. So I'm seasoning up this. I think I have enough oil. I just want to kind of dry fry this. I don't like using too much of anything additive, like oils and things. So this is working out nicely. You can see how they're getting brown already. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to fry up this a little, and then I'm going to slide over this to do my tofu. And right now my tofu is pressing, and it's only almost completely drained. I don't want to have it super dry because I want this to give it that scrambled egg feel. So I'm going to start preparing my tofu now. Now I'm going to go ahead and make a little well here so I can cook that tofu. Test your potatoes. Make sure at this point that they're done. I just tested mine and they were soft enough. I don't want to get them too mushy, but they were cooked. And now I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put a tad more of this oil in. And this is just a Vital Balance oil here. And then I'm going to put the block of tofu. On real high heat here. Well, medium heat. See how it's cooking? I want that to get nice and crispy, and then I'm going to cut it. Slice it up. I just want to get some crispy parts on here. And then I'll dice it up with that. Flip it over to brown it a little. And then I'm just going to dice it up myself like this. Random. I'm going to throw in some nutritional yeast, about a tablespoon, a little bit more. Seasoning, that was garlic salt, or garlic powder actually. I don't want the potatoes getting in here, I want to keep them separate right now. At this point. Tossing this. And I want that to get brown. I'll put a little bit more oil here. I want it to brown. Toss this with it. I like my tofu a little bit crispy. You can really smell that nutritional yeast. It gives it that cheesy flavor. Now I'm going to add some pepper. Just regular black pepper. And then I have my ground garlic. A hint of that. And then I'm going to put a little bit of salt in here as well. Oops. Still smell that nutritional yeast. Getting a little crispy, you can see. Right there. Nice and browned, like scrambled egg. You can put some cheese on top of this if you'd like. Feta cheese, we love. I love the provolone slices, those are delicious. I think I like those the best of all the kinds of slices. Seems to melt nice and make a good taste. So I may put that on here. Or I might just save it for a piece of bread. And it's scrambling up pretty nicely. Like this. And then you can choose to toss it all together. Or you can keep it separate and have your eggs and potatoes separate. I think we're going to just toss it all together to eat it that way. But you can melt your cheese on top like this. As soon as you get it the crispy way you like. Your texture of it. And of course, always, as you're working, I always do this. Taste and adjust. taste and adjust if you need to. Just let it cool for a second. I think I might need more pepper. A little more pepper on. And there you have your scramble. Love the way it's getting crispy. Well, it came out so delicious. I'm going to show you how we're serving it family style. My son is going to go ahead and do a wrap with it. So I placed the wraps out for him. And he loves hot sauce on it, so he's going to put some hot sauce on and wrap it up and eat it that way. And I also am going to be having mine with some extra bread. I'm going to use a bagel, and I like ketchup with mine as well, so I'll be eating it with that. And I hope you enjoy this simple one-pot stir-fry from the Art Lady's home. Easy cooking with one pot.